All right, you guys. Hi. It's Friday, last day of the week that we're going to be reading How High the Moon. This is a chapter about Ella. Ella is our main character. Okay, so she is who most of the stories are written about. And so Ella and her cousins, Henry and Myrna and Ella, all are from Alkaloo, South Carolina. Right now, Ella is visiting her mom, and that's where she has been for most of the book. Doesn't know who her daddy is. She's a really strong-willed young lady. Her mom lives in Boston. She is a singer in a jazz club. What else? Yeah, that's all I got for right now. Okay, here we go. Ella, How High the Moon. The next morning, it was the slam of the bedroom door that woke me up. Oh yeah. Okay, so last episode, Helen. Oh, she was miffed. She was upset because Lucy, the mom, which is also Helen's girlfriend, forgot that she had a show, and so she left. Missed dinner, left, and then went to go play a show, and she was not happy about that. And we knew that because there was a switch in her character. I remember this real quick. So just the way Helen's body changed. She had a change of Helen turned and walked out of the room without a word. And so that normally means that somebody's attitude is shifting, right? All right. So that happened. And then this is how it starts. The next morning, it was the slam of the bedroom door that woke me up. Mom and Helen were in there, and even through the bedroom door, their voices were unusually loud. Mostly it was Mama, talking fast, stomping around. "Oh, come on," Mama was saying through gritted teeth. "I wouldn't be gone that long." "You're being selfish, Lucille," Helen said. I could tell that she was trying, though not succeeding, to keep her voice low. "Selfish? Please." Mama laughed, one of them sarcastic laughs. "It's New York, Helen. Something big could come out of this for me. Then, besides, it's been long enough." Was Mama going to New York City? Would I have to go with her, or would Helen watch me while I stayed in Boston and went to school? Weeks had gone by, and Mama still hadn't enrolled me. I was getting restless as the devil. She said she'd had a hard time getting over there on account of her busy schedule. Heck, at this rate, it'd be summer break, and I still wouldn't be enrolled. If she didn't hurry, I'd have to wait a whole new school year. But was she really thinking about moving? I was just getting used to Boston. I didn't think I was ready for New York just yet. I stood up and I looked around. I could smell tobacco and coffee. Also, I'm having a little thought. Okay. Helen said, "You're being selfish." Now, when somebody's being selfish, they're only thinking about their own needs. And so Ella's here and she's wondering if she's going to have to go to New York with her mom. But I'm thinking that because Helen mentioned that she was being selfish, that maybe, just maybe, Mom wasn't going to take Ella and she was going to go by herself. So that's something to think about. That's my prediction. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that down on a Post-it note because I predict that Mom's going to go to New York City without Ella and without Helen. Okay. I sat up and I looked around. I could smell tobacco and coffee. Mama's coat and purse had been flung onto the armchair, and hanging on the back of the chair was a large man's overcoat, carefully balanced on its fur collar, and was a dark felt hat. Mama and Helen were in the bedroom, but I could hear rustling in the kitchen, the clinking of the coffee pot, a spoon against a cup. Oh, somebody else is there. I staggered to my feet. Helen came out of the bedroom and was heading for the kitchen, and she saw me. "Well, look who's up. You sleep okay?" she asked, but didn't pay attention to my answer. She took a deep breath and looked off towards the kitchen. Now, normally when people take a deep breath, what does that mean? They're calming themselves, right? They're preparing for something. She came over to me, placed her hands on my shoulders, and walked me to the kitchen entryway so I could see the man who was seated inside. Ella, this is Philip. He's a friend of your mama's from the club, she said, and she bent down so her face was close to mine. Darling, he's going to take you back to Charleston this morning. I pulled away from her. Oh, my heart just dropped. What? The man stood up and looked me up and down. He had a big, toothy smile and shiny black hair that lay down flat. There was a burning cigarette between his fingers. Ella, he said joyfully. He turned to Helen. She's a big girl. Helen crossed to the stove and poured a cup of coffee. She's 11. Right, Ella? I didn't say anything. I wanted her to tell me what she had meant when she said he was going to take me back to Charleston. But Helen didn't explain more and just left the room with the coffee. The man was still looking at me. He was pretty and he was smiling, but I still did not like Philip. I looked away. There were scrambled eggs on the stove, and I was pretty sure there was buttered toast staying warm in the oven. My stomach made a loud cry for food, but I didn't want to eat. I'm going back this morning? I asked him finally. Did Mama know they were making me go back so soon? Had I done something wrong? He plopped down in his seat and took a long drag on his cigarette and gulped down some coffee before letting the smoke go. Yes, ma'am, he said. That's the plan. I'm heading down to Charleston myself for business, so your mama thought it'd make sense for me to escort you home. Mama didn't say nothing about me going back yet. I had a hand on my hip, and I could feel my nose flaring. I can't really nose flare. Well, wouldn't you know it? You got some of that Lucille sass in you. He laughed. Alls I know is your mama wanted to be sure you got home safe. As he spoke to me, he turned the butter knife on its side and looked at his reflection. He turned his head to the side a little and smoothed his completely flattened hair. Helen returned and began loading a plate with eggs from the stove and toast from the oven. Helen, I'm not supposed to be going home yet, I said. Your mama's up and going to be in here in a minute to have some breakfast with you, she said. Grab yourself some eggs. There's toast. She nodded to the oven. She retrieved a plate from the cupboard and handed it to me. My stomach sounded again, and this time Philip heard it. Better tend to that tummy, missy, he laughed. I smelled Mama's perfume before I heard her words over my shoulder. Good morning, my angel. She kissed the top of my head. Ooh, I want to just... Mascara smudged the skin under her eyes, making her look like she was fighting a cold. Lucille, Lucille. Philip eyed my mama like he was a long, neglected hound dog, and she was a chicken leg. Even your worse for wear is smoking. Mama sucked her teeth and waved him off as she went to pour herself some coffee. Mama? She turned to me from the stove and took a deep breath, placed her coffee cup on the table in front of me. She knelt down and took my face in her hands. We've had such a good time, Ella, haven't we? She nodded, trying to make me nod too. Well, yeah, but... Listen, baby, Mama had an opportunity come up in New York City and... She searched the floor for the rest of the words. Well, let's face it. It hasn't been the best situation for you here. I'm always gone. I don't mind. If this works out in New York, you never know. Maybe that would be a better situation. You're moving to New York? I looked at Helen leaning in the doorway. She was looking down into her coffee cup, her finger tracing its rim over and over again. I don't know that yet, but if things do work out there, I won't be working at the Naval Yard all day, and, well, maybe you could come there instead. It would be a better situation. She lifted my chin, so I have to look at her face, but I didn't. My face was up, but my eyes wouldn't have none of her. Look, it's something I have to give a chance. Maybe might be a real good opportunity for me. Uh-huh. I looked down at the bare knee that peeked out from her robe. You know, I've been sending money to Granny every month for you. You know that, right? She gave me a gentle shake, still trying to get me to look at her, but I wouldn't. Yeah. She took my hands and kissed them, and then she held them to her own face. I'm sorry, Ella. So sorry it has to be like this right now. Her voice cracked a little when she said it. She sniffled. I pulled my hands free. She bent her head, still sniffling. Philip reached across the table and handed her a handkerchief, which she promptly used to dab her nose and eyes. Without another word, she stood up and walked past me and Helen, out of the room. I heard the bathroom door close. Except for the sound of Philip slurping his coffee, the kitchen was silent. Helen walked over, and without saying anything, she wrapped her arms around me and just held me. I sank into her embrace, held her tight, and let the beat of her heart calm me. Guys, that makes me so sad. It's the end of our chapter. Myrna's next. Yeah, I'm having a lot of feelings about that. Helen's right. She was so selfish, right? She's thinking about what she wants and not what anybody else needs. And the other thing I'm realizing as she's saying this, and as this is happening, right, not only is she kind of abandoning Ella again, she's also leaving Helen. She's moving to a totally different state, and she's going to leave Helen behind. And that's just not how you treat people. You don't just get up and move without having conversations about it. And I think Helen's probably pretty upset about it too. And Helen's now going to lose Ella and Lucille, right? But man, how sad for Ella, who didn't see it coming. That's rough. All right, you guys, that is the end of our reading this week. We are clipping along. There's not much left. I have a feeling we'll be done real quick. Maybe, yeah, who knows? Another week or two. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. I appreciate your guys' comments when you let me know stuff that you like. I think that's real fun. Anyways, have a great weekend, and we'll be back on Monday. Bye.